Hi everyone. Welcome to the Sun City Stitchers channel. We're glad you're joining us. I'm Carlene.
And I'm Marlene, and this is episode number 21.
Yay, 21. We know that there are so many wonderful floss tube channels out there, so we want to start first by thanking you for joining us and tuning in. We love hearing from you. We love getting comments from you. We just thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, we're so appreciative.
I have to tell you that having started back to work, Friday is like the highlight of my week. I can hardly wait to go out for dinner with Marlene, catch up on our week, and then we usually come back to my house and do our little floss tube, and it's just like something that I really look forward to for Friday. And so
because a lot of times we're both so busy during the week, because I don't finish tutoring until
we usually talk every day,
but it's just really short, not a lot, so
yeah,
it's just a chance for us to catch up and just relax. And we always find some place to go sit and eat outside usually. So it's nice. I look forward to it too.
I had a really busy week because we had parent-teacher conferences, so that meant it was a late day for me on Tuesday, which just makes a long week. And we interviewed for positions, so that's something a little out of the ordinary and just takes a little more work and organization.
Too,
I had a meeting after school.
Committee meetings and stuff,
2 committee meetings, actually. One on Monday and one on Thursday. So it was just busy, and I'm glad that it's Friday. And we've got 2 more weeks, and then we're going to be off for a fall break.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, I do have to work the first week, just half a day. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. How was your week?
My week was good, but this week I did have to work today. I did have some tutoring students today. One little girl that I will always have on Fridays, but another one that I moved to Friday because she had a birthday on Monday, so she didn't want to do tutoring.
Not on her birthday?
No, not on her birthday. So I was like, so I moved her to today to make up the session. And so it was a little bit longer week for me too. But it went very good.
Oh, that's
My
good.
tutoring is going very well, very busy, but it's going good.
We're going to just kind of share our progress on our college game day projects so that you can see how we're doing. And then we both got to stitch on Hello Autumn for our Sunflower September.
Yes.
So we'll show you what we've gotten done on that. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time and talk about the Bristol Samplers. One of my favorite floss tube channels to watch is the Saltbox Stitcher, and she does so many beautiful samplers.
She does. She does beautiful samplers.
And it's just, and I've always kind of was like, no, I don't want to do a sampler. But after looking at the beautiful ones she has, I was like, you know what? I really want to look.
Yeah,
and so Marlene and I have found something that we're kind of fascinated with. So we're going to share that in our floss tube today, a little bit later. And then talk about what we're going to stitch.
It's on our
wish list. Yes, it's on our wish list. So let's jump right in. And Marlene, how many of your teams won for college football?
Well, I only had 9 that played because
Florida State had a bye week.
So out of the 9 that played, I had 6 that won their games.
Okay, and I had 7 out of the 9. Yes, I had 7 that won. Okay, so Marlene.
Oh, are we doing that first or?
Yes, college game day.
Okay, I had this one on top, but that's okay. Okay, so Alabama is my number 1, and that is paired with Poison Garden.
The Chatelaine.
Yes, Chatelaine Poison Garden.
Stitched on 28 count graceful gray, I believe, with sampler threads, Weeks Dye Works,
and classic colors.
And Anchor and the Rainbow Gallery Treasure Braid, and some Pearl Silk Lamaze.
Yes.
So Marlene, what did you work on this week?
I got the corners finished with all the rice stitches.
Oh, okay.
And then I started on this, it's called Bella Tropa. And so I started on these, and it's going to change as it goes around. It changes.
Because it's for all the seasons.
This is working out to the next border here. So I'm going to continue working out here and try to put in some of that border so that I can kind of know if I'm in the right spot or not. So, but I was having a hard time doing that. It's a lot of quarter stitches. So.
Well, my number one team is Alabama as well, but I paired it with Autumn Hydrangea Fog, also a chatelaine. And I'm working on the center square. I did not want to put this one away, but I made myself do it.
What you got done?
Just still mainly the little center square. Let me show you. So I'm ready to start adding some of the specialty stitches in there now. And the straight stitches for the grass that go around the center pond. So I'm gonna be working on that. Hopefully Alabama, they barely won last week.
Against Texas, that was scary.
Yes, it was. Hopefully they will win. So our number two team.
Number 2 is Ohio State, and we're both doing quilted bees for Ohio State. So,
this is a long dog sampler.
Yes.
Marlene and I are stitching it on 28 count.
I think it's
sand, light sand.
I think so, light sand.
28 count light sand
this is
with anchor floss
and treasure braids.
And the treasure braids for the bees and the dragonflies.
I had this one done, and I'm just putting in this other block.
So you're working on
that. So I got
one.
the purple done and some of the background done.
So we're using this art. We had an inspiration quilt, which is a Depression era quilt called Grandma's Flower Garden is one of the names for it.
A little bit brighter than the Depression era, but I like it.
This is mine. I backstitched the bee and then filled in the yellow. I decided to use a yellow for this background.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty.
And then I just didn't want to stop, and so then I added just a tiny bit of blue for the patch that goes up here.
I already have that one done.
Marlene and I really want this to look exactly like a quilt, and the little quilted pieces here. So we're trying to fill in the areas so that it looks like fabric, and then the solid, all of the squares where the bee or the little dragonfly or insect, whatever is sitting, they're a solid background. So then this will always be a sparkly thread. So that's our number 2 project.
That's very pretty. I like that.
Then number 3
was Georgia. And I had that one paired with Autumn Hydrangea Fog. Ooh, and this one's so exciting.
So pretty.
And
again, this is a chatelaine.
Yes, a chatelaine.
Done on 28 count. I don't remember what color fabric.
I'm not sure either.
Maybe it's sand also. It's right here. I'll hold it up so you can point.
Okay. So I got the road stitches done out here in this last border, and plus I got the little over one mushroom stitched in 2 areas. They're going to go all the way around in each corner. So it's very fun. I was worried I would have trouble doing it because it's so small. But I didn't have any trouble stitching those little mushrooms.
This is such a good fabric. I think the color is just really good for this.
So that's...
Well, my number 3 for Georgia is Poison Garden.
Yeah, ours we flip-flopped.
Yes, we flipped our 1s and 3s. And so I am working on the top area still with this arches. Is so time consuming, but it's beautiful. I'm having so much fun.
And is it mostly cross stitch, or is it some?
It's almost all cross stitch right now. Everything that I'm working on in here, it has been cross stitch. I'm just filling in all of these stitches in here. In this section, There's a
In that middle
larger
section?
plant.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
There's a larger plant, and then some of it, I think it's supposed to look like a shadow, so it's like a half cross stitch.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
And then there's back stitching all the way around here.
Oh, wow.
So yes, it's been very challenging. So I worked on that.
How pretty though. I'm excited to get to those arches.
It's very fun. It is very pretty and very fun, but just know that it's going to take a long time. Yeah. It's very time consuming. There's a lot of color changes, and it's just very busy.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, then number 4 is
Ohio State.
No, Clemson.
No, Clemson, I mean.
Clemson. And my number 4 is the Changing Seasons by Fox and Rabbit. And I finished, where's my arrow? There it is. I finished the little yellow ball thingies down here on these
that are back
sections.
stitched, right?
Yes, and then I put in the flower up here.
So you're continuing the pink up into the outer corner too. And that's the spring.
Yes, that's spring.
So in that box that's empty right now, that's going to have the pinks, the shades of pinks.
Pinks and greens.
Oh, that's going to be so
pretty. And then this will
pretty.
be pinks too. Here.
And you actually have like almost a fourth of just the single row of cross stitch border.
Yeah, I was putting that in earlier, and then I made a mistake and had to take it out, the green part. So, yeah, isn't that pretty? I love that. I like the way my little flowers turned out.
I love it. It's really pretty. My number 4 team is Clemson also, and I'm doing Tempting Teas. And last week I was working on this little teapot, but this week I was working on it in the evening, and I was too tired to work on an area that had a bunch of color changes. So I didn't work anymore on the teapot. I came over here and I stitched this word. And that was like almost 200 stitches, just that one little word.
And so you're doing it over one.
Yeah, kumquat tea, because these are all different kinds of teas. So I'm doing this, over one with Dinky Dye Floss.
Peach color?
No, it's gold. It's very gold looking.
Oh, it's gold.
Yes, it's like a dark gold color.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yes.
The way the light was
kumquat. Over one, yes, with Dinky Dye Floss.
Okay, then my number 5 team was Houston, and they lost.
My number 5 team was Notre Dame, and they lost again.
Oh my gosh.
They've lost 2 weeks in a row.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then my number 6 team was Baylor, and they lost.
My number 6 team was Arkansas, and they won. They look really good, better than what I thought they were going to. And I have that paired with the Drawn Thread Moonlight Garden.
Oh, pretty.
And so I worked some more on the border on that one.
Oh, so, that looks pretty.
Yes. So I got the outside border. It's just a single row of cross stitch done, and then started putting in some more green leaves here. I did, because I was tired this week, I tried to do things where I had as little color change as possible. So I was able to put in the stitches there, and then also the back stitch, because this is with silk. Silk floss that was included in the kit. And it's with one strand, so I could do the cross stitch and then do the back stitch at the same time. So it worked out really good.
Okay, and my number 7 team is Arkansas, and that is paired with From Sea to Shining Sea. And so I worked on the West Coast. So
wow!
So all I have left to put in is the palm tree. So I got the sun put in, and the window boxes, and the little plants here beside the house.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I got a lot done on that.
So pretty. And this was with the cult for floss also, and fabric.
Yes.
And it is a little house design. Let's see, number 7. My number 7 team is Mizzou, and they lost.
Okay.
So I did not get to work
number
on my number 7 team, which was Life After Death.
Right.
And then my number 8 team is Florida, and they had a bye.
Oh, and they had a bye.
So I didn't work on them.
My
either.
number 8 team is Miami, and so that one is with Pumpkin Patch Farm. I just started working on this one. I haven't worked on it very much.
Victoria Sampler.
Victoria Sampler.
And this one we got kitted up, we weren't sure about the fabric. We think we bought the fabric.
Yeah.
Marlene bought the fabric.
Yeah.
But the floss was included in like a floss pack in the kit.
And so that's what I have done. I'm working on, I'm going to try to finish the house, I think.
Oh, it's so pretty. I need to dig this pattern out. I have it too. Because
really
you know what? I really love that little red barn at the bottom with all those little pumpkins.
I know, I love that. I can't really wait to get to that part, which is going to be till the end, but...
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So anyway,
really pretty.
It's really fun. So anyway.
Then my number 9 team was UTEP, and they won this week.
Yay!
Yes, they played New Mexico. And so mine is paired with Home Sweet Home. And I also was using this for homework. So I was working on this, the Classic Craftsman, and I got a lot done. I got all the cross stitching done on that one.
That looks good.
And then for homework this week, one of my tasks was to do back stitching.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to get all of the back stitching done. It'll be more stitches than I need. But then that one will be done, and I'll be ready to go on then to block number 7, which will go down here under
beach bungalow, right?
The beach bungalow, and it'll go underneath the casita. So that was my number 9 project.
Oh wow, let me see it again because I couldn't really see it. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, and there was the pillars here are a specialty stitch. They're a horizontal elongated cross stitch. A tied elongated cross stitch because you did a stitch down the center.
Oh, I like doing those.
So it gave a really pretty effect to the pillars. So it's very fun, very relaxing. And even though there were some color changes, I had almost everything done. So I was just filling in around the doors and the windows with that. It was Weeks Dye Works Arrowhead, and then this was a Weeks Dye Work Chesapeake. And so then the roof I just had to fill in. So it was easy stitching, even though I was tired. I wasn't counting a lot.
And that was your number 8?
That was number 9.
Oh, that was number 9. My number 9 team was Mizzou, and they lost. So I didn't get to stitch on Nostalgia.
And then my number 10, I have not worked on it yet, so I'm not going to show that one. It's changing seasons. My number 10 team is North Dakota State.
Okay.
And they won, but I haven't stitched on it yet.
Okay.
So.
And my number 10 team was Florida State, and they had a bye.
Oh,
so
that's right. So you didn't stitch on that.
Which was Quaker Rocky Road.
Oh.
I know. So, yeah.
Well, maybe they'll win this week.
Yeah, hopefully.
So that was our college game day.
Update.
Very fun. I love college football. It's so fun.
I know, I love it too.
That's what I did all last week. I watched football all day long and cross-stitched. I started first with the Hello Autumn.
Saturday and Sunday.
And so how are you coming? You got to start Hello Autumn?
Yes, I got to start Hello Autumn.
Remember, we're doing this one because we decided to stitch for Sunflower September.
Yes, Sunflower September.
And so since the little red truck has lots of sunflowers.
This is how much I got done.
Oh, you got red started. Oh, and you got a sunflower put in there.
I got to put a sunflower in.
Oh, how exciting. I've only worked on red. Oh, that looks really pretty.
I think I'm going to go down and put the tire in next.
Yes. I'm getting ready to put a tire in too. This is all my red that I have.
Oh, wow. You have a lot of the red done.
I'm working on the back half of the truck.
I know. I kind of wished I would have gone to the front and worked
So I'm working on just the back half, and I'm going to...
it's very fun.
Yes, I'm hoping that this week I'll be ready to finish up because I don't have very much red left. I'm working on the color that goes right in here, and it comes up and starts making the roof of the truck cab.
Yeah.
So I'll be putting that in working on that. And then I want to work on the tire, and I'm hoping to get started on the flowers. But I have kind of a lot left for homework to get done too, so I don't know how much I'm going to get to work on this.
I'm very excited to work on it some
But
more,
it's
'cause
very
fun.
fun.
There isn't a lot. Well, I guess there is.
This was a Sue Hillis design.
I was going to say there isn't a lot of backstitching, but never mind.
There's quite a bit of back
There's a lot
stitching
of
on it.
backstitching.
There's quite a bit of back stitching, but it's going to be very fun.
Yeah, but it's fun to.
So
easy
then,
to backstitch.
the next thing that Marlene and I were going to talk about today is that, you know, when we were talking, we were trying to decide whether we were going to do Sunflower September or Sampler September. And we decided to do the Sunflower September because we really wanted to do a reproduction sampler, but we hadn't selected anything yet. And like I said in the introduction, one of our favorite floss tubes to watch is the Salt Box Stitcher, because she has so many gorgeous samplers. And she did one of her more recent floss tubes. She kind of did a parade with a whole bunch of different samplers. And one of her samplers really just like caught my attention because it was a Bristol sampler. So some of you probably already know this, but I did not, and and Marlene didn't either. And so we've kind of been looking at them.
In fact, I thought when I heard Bristol Samplers, it was Bristol, Tennessee.
Oh,
I didn't even realize it was Bristol, England.
Bristol, England. And what it is during the late 1800s, there was an orphanage in Bristol, England, and they only selected certain children to go into their orphanage. They had certain criteria that they had to meet, but many of the girls, once they reached an age where they could begin working, then they left the orphanage and went into service, like in a home or whatever. So one of the things that they learned while they were at the orphanage was needlework, fine needlework. And each of the girls was required to make a sampler. Between the ages of 12 and 15, they stitched on a sampler. And so Marlene and I are going to show you just a couple of examples because it's really fascinating.
And they had certain characteristics they had to include in their samplers.
So we're going to talk about the characteristics. And Marlene, maybe on this one, well, one of the characteristics is that they almost all have a Bible motif. And so like on this one, this was just on the cover of the article that we found. The Bible is right here in the middle, and then it says Bible on it. They aren't all here. This was just a cover. I don't know whose this one was.
Is it the one that says Jesus is the way, the life,
no.
the truth? Okay.
No, it does not.
Okay.
And then another characteristic is that they cover a lot of stitches. They're a large stitch design, but they were stitched on very small count, like usually upwards of 70 count stitches per inch.
I was reading about was 80.
Yes, 80. And so they're smaller than you would expect because they're stitched on such tiny count of fabric, or such a a high count of fabric. The fabric was not an even weave. It usually was a linen. It said that sometimes it even was done like on a handkerchief. Or something similar to like the silk gauze. So they stitched on whatever was available to them. And so that was also a characteristic of the Bristol samplers. The sampler was usually hem stitched as a finish. So not necessarily framed, but the hem stitch was done all the way around the outside. And the colors and the threads vary, but most often they were done in red. So they were done in red work, and sometimes they were done in other colors like a blue or a green. And there are a few Bristol samplers that are done in lots of different colors, but the article that we read said that it was very rare for them to be done in multiple colors. They were usually a one color. And then they have a repeated, yes, monochromatic, right. And then they have repeated alphabets and motifs. So you're going to see similar motifs on all of the Bristol samplers, and the alphabets are repeated. So usually there's more than one alphabet. So Marlene was going to pull up a couple of examples. So whose do you have first?
This is Ada Walker. This one was stitched in 1889. I don't know if it's going to show very
Marlene's going to try to hold her phone up so that you can see, or do you want me to hold it up?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to.
But this, and you can Google this, Ada Walker, Bristol Sampler.
If you do the Bristol Samplers, then it'll come up.
And this is an example of one that was all red. All of ours are red because Marlene and I want to do one of these, and we want to do one in reds. So Ada Walker, and the other very unique thing about Bristol Samplers is that the orphanage kept very meticulous records about the girls that were in their care. And so many of these samplers come with a lengthy story, which is really, really interesting. So in this example, this was, like Marlene said, it was an 1889 sampler. And it was it's very unusual because there were 3 sisters, and Ada was the youngest sister. Made her own Bristol sampler. And the sampler was stitched 10 years after other samplers with the same format. And let me see if I can find out anything about Ada. She was the youngest of 9 children, and her parents were William Walker and Elizabeth Sarah Holt. They were married on April 26th of 1853. There were 2 sets of initials beneath the wreath, and those were Ada's parents, those 2 sets of initials. And then it also has the initials of each of her siblings on the sampler. Just a minute, we'll kind of see if we can show you that. And there may also be initials.
They're not beneath the wreath. They're in the middle.
Oh, they're inside the wreath.
See.
So here, and those initials are for her. She put her parents' initials inside the wreath, and then the other sets of initials are actually siblings, and then they also believe some cousins. And there were a few initials on there that they were unable to trace. The mother of the girls passed away, and then her husband, George, was the master of one of the workhouses there, and he also passed away. And so, anyway, but it goes on and tells this whole story. So when you're doing the sampler, then you can have this whole story that goes with it, which is really unique, because sometimes you have the sampler, but you really don't know anything about the person that made it or how old they were.
I thought these were the initials, but George, if his name is George, then what's the ESW and WW?
Well, I don't know. But anyway, that's what it says. So.
And then these must be all the other initials.
Okay. Yes, probably. Okay. Then another one that Marlene and I thought was really beautiful was Harriet Salt. And this one was stitched in 1866. And when Harriet went to the orphanage, she was 13, and she also went together with 2 of her sisters. And their father had passed away. This one, again, it looks very large. I'm going to try to make sure that you can see the stitches. There's lots. You can see that it's just filled with stitches and motifs. Really pretty. Again, the Bible motif is going to be there in the center.
Some of them are in the center, and some of them are.
And some of them are towards the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So the Harriet Salt lost both her parents within the space of a month, and so they were separated from the brothers, and the three girls went into the orphanage because none of the other family members, aunts, uncles, or grandparents were in a situation where they could take the children in. I was going to read a little bit about Harriet. Harriet Sampler, 1868 is the earliest dated, and then she also did a multicolored Bristol Sampler that surfaced later, and so there was I don't know what that one was called. So they have so this
was the date 1866?
1866.
Okay.
And 1868 was the multicolored one, I guess.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and then the other one that we really liked was Mary Hilliard. And Mary's father, the story that it tells, her father was in an accident involving a train, and he died because of his injuries. And then within a year, Mary's mother died of pneumonia. And so Mary and her younger sister Lucy were taken in by their aunt, but she had 4 children of her own. Do you have that one pulled up?
Yes. And that one,
this one has the Bible actually down at the very bottom corner down here. And then let me just pull this down a little bit. So then you can see the alphabet and the other motifs throughout. Again, really this one is all in red again.
So the ones we liked were all in red.
Yes, they were all in red. The orphans, the 2 girls then, because their aunt was not able to care for them along with her children, they went into the orphanage, and then Mary remained at the orphanage until October 2nd of 1868, when at the age of 16, she was sent to work as a housemaid for a reverend in Brixton Rise, London. And then Mary returned to the Clifton area of Bristol, which is a suburb. And then at 30 years of age, she married a widower. So there's just so much information that you can find out about her. The widower was 73 years old.
Oh, wow.
And in the census, in 1881, the census returned David was a lodging housekeeper, and in 1891, the census return was boarding with Mary at a lodging house in Clifton, and he was living on his own means, probably due to his advanced age. They did not have any children. And then he died and left his estate to Mary. So that was very interesting also. Just very interesting stories about them, and that's exactly what I want when I do a sampler, something that has a story behind it. So I'm going to look at those and then decide which one I want to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
And then there was another set of samplers, and they were not red work samplers. They were more colorful. And those, the Saltbox Stitcher also showed those. And they were done by a pair of sisters. And I know one of the patterns, it seems like it's a little bit harder to find than the other. And I don't remember now, but we'll talk about those later at another time. But
they were Hands Across the Sea, weren't they?
They were from Hands Across the Sea.
Right.
Yes, they were available through Hands Across the Sea. So I want to look into those a little bit more, because I think that's the other sampler set that I would like to do. So I know these are going to be time consuming, so I need to get some of my whips taken care of before I undertake something more.
Yes.
But oh well, the more the merrier, right?
Yes, because, well, like I talked about with you, I'm thinking of making next year the year of the ladies.
Oh.
So I could do my
Mirabilia Filipina.
My Villa Filipina, and then my sampler.
And then samplers, if we did a couple
but
of samplers.
But I have to get some of my other things finished before.
But then we talked about wanting to do one of the lavender and lace.
Yeah, one of the Celtic ones, or Celtic, however you say it.
Yeah, Celtic.
Yeah.
Celtic.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
That's why I thought it could be the year of the ladies, because it would be all ladies stuff.
I think that's a really cool idea.
2023, the year of the ladies.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, it's a plan. All right, what do you have coming up?
I'm just gonna continue to work on College Game Day. I'm hoping to work some more on my Hello Autumn. And then I'm hoping this week to get to work on Fall on the Farm. I haven't gotten to work on that yet in September, and I'm hoping to do that.
I haven't worked on my Fall on the Farm in September either, I don't think.
Get to do that.
I have the homework left, a little bit of homework left to finish for my challenge group. And then I have just the one changing seasons to do, so that I'm caught up for College Game Day. And then homework coming up for next week, I'm supposed to work on my smallest whip, which is going to be this little teeny tiny Prairie Schooler Santa. I'm working on this little tiny one, and I did it over one.
That's cute.
Yes, he's very cute. So I
fill
fill in the background. No, I'm filling in. All of the background has to be filled in.
Oh.
So we need snow and like a starry sky. So I have that smallest whip, and then I'm supposed to work on something gold. So I have half the streamers done, the ones here in back of Joseph. So I'm going to work on the half of the streamers here above Mary, because they're all gold. Some of them are half stitches. I'm going to need about 350 stitches. So I'll be working on the ones above Mary, because see, they're not done.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph's are done, but the ones above Mary are not. Because it's supposed to be stitch in gold. And I don't know if that means gold stitches on the project or a stitch in gold, but I'm going to stitch in gold and do those. And then a project I've been fighting with. So since I've had such a struggle figuring out what I'm going to do for changing seasons, that is going to be this one. Yes. So I want to I want to finish these. I haven't worked on this at all. So I'm going to get the corner motifs done. That will take care of my 350 stitches. I have to get 100 stitches done for College Game Day, which I'm going to do tomorrow. So that won't count for homework.
Right.
Because the homework won't start till Monday.
But there's a lot of stitches in that.
Yes. I think each motif is almost 300 stitches. I counted it. So that's what I have coming up.
Well, that sounds good.
So I'm hoping I get to do lots of cross stitching.
I know, I'm hoping to too.
Next week is not going to be as bad.
No, my week will be, well, I mean, I still have just as many students, but this week, on top of doing all my tutoring, was my house cleaning week, so I cleaned a little bit of my house every day, except Wednesday, because that's my planning day.
So you won't have that next week?
No, next week I won't have that, so I'll have more time to stitch.
Stitching time, because you don't have to do something yucky like clean your house.
No.
I need to clean my house too. I don't know when that's going to happen. My husband is going to help. He doesn't know that yet, but he's going to.
I'm like a good plan.
He's really good about helping though. So we hope you all get to do a lot of stitching.
Yes.
This coming weekend and next week.
Relax and stitch.
As we said when we started, we love our time here on Floss Tube, visiting with all of you.
And sharing information, and sharing our progress.
And I know even sometimes when it's small progress, it's still fun to share with others. And so we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And from us, Sun City Stitchers, remember that a day without sunshine is like a day without laughter.
No, a day without laughter is like
a day without laughter is like a day without sunshine.
So wherever you are, bring your own sunshine.
And keep on stitching. See you next week.